let's look at it in a little more detail. Now, the competition view says that you need to identify the key success factor in your industry, right? Every industry has a key success factor, right? And the company needs to identify that factor. Now, competition has certain assumptions. All competitive activity is based on certain assumptions. If the company follows the assumptions of competition, that's one kind of strategic approach. However, if the company chooses to segment the market in a different way from competition, then that's an entirely different kind of approach. So the competition view of strategy advocates that the company should look at segmenting the market not in the way in which competition has segmented the market, but to look at new ways of segmenting the market. Let's take the example of Amul. A couple of decades back in India, you only had overseas companies, overseas brands of dairy products. These were all expensive dairy products. They were all dairy products which catered to consumers whose primary interest was in the most attractive kind of dairy product. Customers for whom price was not a primary consideration. In this situation, we had the Amul, the Anand Milk Union. In fact, Amul is really the short form of Anand Milk Union Limited. Now, Anand Cooperative was formed, and there were tens of thousands of farmers who were bringing milk together, and all this milk was then sold to consumers. Milk was also converted into dairy products. Now, the Amul brand of dairy products focused on a different segment of the customer altogether. It focused on customers who were price conscious. Now, here are two different ways of segmenting the market. The overseas companies operating in India segmented the market on the basis of product variety. Amul segmented the market on the basis of price. This is fundamentally a question of competition-based strategy. Now, let's look at this Amul example a little deeper to understand a very important concept in competition-based strategy, and that is the difference between operational effectiveness and strategic effectiveness. We owe a great debt to Professor Michael Porter, who has done sterling work in competitive-based strategy, and who has elaborated this difference between operational effectiveness and strategic effectiveness. Now, operational effectiveness is doing the same things as competition, but doing them better. Strategic effectiveness is doing different things from competition to get the same result as competition, right? So, let's apply the Amul story to this. You have Amul, you have the overseas brands. The overseas brands are looking at product variety. Now, if Amul were to also look at product variety, and if Amul provided better product variety than the overseas brands, that would be operational effectiveness. That would certainly be one way in which Amul could compete with the overseas brands. That's one strategy, right? In this case, Amul's strategy is a question of being operationally effective. However, they have chosen a strategy of strategic effectiveness. What they have said is that they will produce products which cater to those who value price. So they are looking at providing different things from competition. They are not looking at doing the same things as competition and doing it better. They are looking at doing different things from competition. This is the fundamental difference between competitive strategy and competence-based strategy. Let's look at what Professor Goodwin has to say on the link between operational excellence and strategic planning.
Operational excellence is important in today's organizations as the organizations try to eliminate waste and become more efficient and more effective. And strategic management helps organizations in the big picture be pointed in the right direction. And my goal is to make sure that students that graduate from the program have a clear understanding, a model to use for strategic planning. And basically the first part of the semester is structured in which we go through that model, mission and vision, internal analysis, external analysis, strategic objectives, and then how to develop strategies to achieve those objectives, how to execute or implement those strategies, and then how to evaluate those strategies. That's the basic model with a feedback loop. And it's my goal that by the end of the semester, every student understands that model clearly. And of course, it gets applied differently in different industries. I mean, there's different success factors, there's different internal core competencies, there's different external environmental issues in every industry, but it's the same basic model that's used. And each time that they do strategic planning or organization does strategic planning, it's important to make sure all those components are present. Strategic planning is important really for any endeavor as it relates to management graduate training, and certainly within operational excellence, because operational excellence it's a way of traveling, if so to speak. The strategic planning helps guide what direction that way of traveling goes. So what products you choose, how you structure the organization, what markets, what businesses you're in, what you're not in, that's all very important to an organization, and it complements very well operational excellence in the broader context.